Alrighty, guys. Well, welcome back to another episode of the On-Site Inside podcast. I'm your host, Corey Tompkins, and today we have an extremely special guest, Andrew Cumming. So today's episode 38. Andrew has taken time out of his busy day and his busy schedule to come here and give some nice little insight to you guys, to the builders, developers, and basically whoever else is listening that might get some little golden nuggets out of this one. So Andrew does come from a background of real estate, but I'm not going to talk for him. Andrew, we spoke a little bit off camera before, but thank you again, man, for coming on. If you want to just give our listeners anyway a little bit of an insight into you, what you're about, when you started, et cetera,
well,
and then we'll start rolling.
Yeah, big fan of the show.
Yeah, thank you.
I've listened to a few episodes and you definitely got some gold in there, so hopefully I can bring some of my own to you and your audience.
No, you will.
Basically, working in real estate for 4 years, started out as a sales agent, did 3 years on that side of the business and saw an opportunity as a buyer's agent. That space is just growing so quickly in Brisbane, in Australia. The adoption of buyer's agents, the curve is like vertical basically. So I'm trying to ride that, and I built a business called purchase.com.au, which I launched in February this year. Before then, my approach to real estate has always been quite different. Some of your audience may know me, some may not. But if they do a little bit of research, they'll find me pretty quickly. I'm the guy that tours luxury properties all over Brisbane and outside of Brisbane sometimes as well. I saw an opportunity in that space to be a bit different. Real estate, like your industry, is very saturated. It's competitive. You need some way to stand out, whether it's having a niche to focus on or a point of difference in your marketing strategy in the instance of real estate, because real estate is all about marketing. It's all about doing deals. So how could I do that better than the other agent? It was by leveraging my ability to promote property on social media. So I did that, grew my social media platform to over 100,000 followers across TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, definitely well over 100 now. And that was fun. You know, I was getting paid to do these promos. I'm personally passionate about architecture and luxury real estate. So I got a kick out of just doing it. Wasn't just about the money, but it definitely opened my eyes to the other side of the industry, which is buyer's advocacy, and basically pulled the trigger on that at the beginning of this year and haven't looked back. So
yeah, no, that's good. So we were talking a little bit off camera about, you know, I've done my research a little bit. Don't know your full story, but I think. If you guys are listening anyway, if you do your research about Andrew, you'll sort of know what I'm talking about. But I think it's a very smart thing that you've done. But what I want to know is I want to just dig a little bit deeper into it because, you know, it's almost like you sort of fell into it naturally. Or it was, you know, I hate saying the word luck because there's never no luck, right? It's
what aspect in particular?
The viralness of some of the videos and you know, because I think that's obviously attention converts. I think we all know
it's
that.
Currency.
Yeah, the more attention you have, the more opportunities, the more, you know, and et cetera, that goes on and on.
Yeah.
So I sort of said it a little bit off camera before about, you know, I almost think that you found and this goes for everyone. When the market's always saturated, it doesn't matter what you do, whether you're in construction, fucking you name it. Yeah. Every market is saturated. If you're trying to sit there and find a market that's unsaturated, good luck.
Yeah.
Right? You almost found like a little pocket of gold, and you sort of said, because as you already know, not every real estate agent is fucking fabulous at marketing.
Yeah.
So, you know, the way I see it is like you've almost positioned yourself as a personal brand for yourself. It's you.
Yes.
But now you've got the attention. So a real estate agent's coming to you and saying, hey, I want to purchase your attention, right, that you've now gained. Can you come and do a video or a walkthrough of X, Y, and Z property, and here's this dollar figure. Right? So where before that, there wasn't even really like that. Fuck, fabulous idea.
Yeah.
Like it's looking at it now, it's like, fuck, I could do that as well.
Yeah, it was an accidental business.
Yeah.
I didn't intend on making money or turning it into a business.
Yeah.
For me, as a young real estate agent, going up against some of these heavy hitters in Brisbane and trying to accelerate my growth curve in the industry, what could I do to stand out? It was go and promote these properties on social media. I know how to do it better than the dinosaurs in the industry.
Yeah.
And it was so successful in that creating exposure for a listing. Yeah. People started say, Andrew, can you come do this one, this one, this one?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's going to cost you now because I got to pay my videographer.
Yeah.
But I also have to edit the video and I have to charge you for the attention.
Yeah.
I mean, if realestate.com.au let everyone list their property for free, we'd have no marketplace here in Australia. So you have to put a price on things. And that price for the service went up and up and up as it became more exclusive and more effective. Plenty of properties sold from my platform.
Yeah.
An accidental business that turned into something really special. And I'm very grateful for it because it didn't just give me a source of revenue. It put me in front of Brisbane. It put me in front of Australia. It opened so many doors to me that wouldn't have opened otherwise. That was only possible because I had, I guess, the
talk to me about it. Was it, as you sort of said, because looking at it now, right, it's already done, fast forward fucking how many, I don't know how long it's been since you did your first one, and everyone's probably looking at it going, oh, fuck, like I can, and there's people out there doing it now, trying to mimic like what the voiceover thing and the way that it's done. But the first one, what was like, was there sort of a point in time where you did it and you were like, fuck, all right, this is actually sort of, well,
the first one,
sort of gaining.
First one went viral, and then the next 10 went viral because they'd never been done before in Brisbane, and it was such a.
And did you have a thought about how you were going to do it, or
not
did you
really?
Just sort of fucking,
it's really not complicated. It's a single take video through a property and a voiceover, and you speed ramp the video to make sure it fits into a consumable length, which is a minute or a minute 30. It's really not complicated. So people try and overcomplicate things, or they don't bother because they think it's so complex. There's 3 elements to creating that content. I still create it and it still does well, but you still have to innovate as well. I think it's less about the content and more about the willingness to do it. A lot of people just write the idea off because they think they can't. They're scared of the criticism and the judgment that they'll experience from their colleagues, their boss, their friends, their girlfriend, whoever it is, their fucking dad.
Whoever.
They don't do it for so many different reasons. And because of that, they'll never see any evolution in their business.
Would you say that, because as you said, it's all high profile sort of residential thing, right? The more high profile the house, the better the architectural, the more it hits. Would you say that it was almost not frowned upon, but shied away from because it didn't seem professional?
I think that, what are you saying for the people that are on the fence
sort of style,
doing it?
like the style of content, like when you sort of step into that realm of real estate where they are high profile individuals, super nice houses, everything's got to be black and white. They want it to be super professional.
I think there's so many ways to do it. Like I'm doing it my way because it works for me. I know how to do it and people enjoy it. There's 100 other ways to do it. You don't have to replicate what I've done. You just have to do something. Instead of sitting on your hands and watching everyone else get ahead, hate yourself, and then eventually get out of the industry because you didn't act, whether that's in construction, real estate, finance, mortgage broking, whatever it is. You need to actually go try something. There's so many ideas out there, and if you can't come up with any, use AI to come up with something. ChatGPT is literally a think tank. You can put any prompt in there. I'm a mortgage broker. Give me 10 social media concepts or formulas that I can run on a fortnightly basis that's going to get people saving my content, sharing it, commenting on it. It'll give you 10 ideas. One of them might be good. Just do something. You have to actually start thinking a bit laterally because if you don't evolve, you'll just get swamped by the other people that are doing those things. The future of marketing is in social media, I think. You're doing a podcast. It's brilliant. You get video anecdotes from that. You get audio anecdotes.
Everything.
There's so much in that. Even just a podcast, like you got to do something. That's the bottom line. And my formula works for me. You can try it. It might work for you. But the point is, go find your formula, and you won't find it without experimenting. And I experimented on social media for 3 years before I even got into real estate. So it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight.
Oh, dude, I'm so with it because me and Nick, we sit in here and just. I always used to use the analogy of, we just keep throwing shit at the wall until something sticks, and then it sticks, and then you keep throwing.
You get a sticky shit.
Yeah, and then you just keep throwing again. You keep throwing again, and then something else will stick. But then, because if you just rely on the one thing, as you sort of said, it will die off. You have to stay.
Yeah, you have to evolve.
Yeah, you have to evolve. You have to try different shit, and sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes, for the most part, especially with us, you can just imagine in the content builder space. Saturated as fuck.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you break through?
Yeah. What do you do?
Who fucking knows?
You do something that has
If everyone knew the answer, everyone would fucking break through.
You have to experiment though.
You just got to keep trying, keep doing up. flip your phone around, video some shit, do professional, do unprofessional, do jokes, don't do jokes. Fuck it. Yeah. Everyone, I think the people that sit on the sideline, and we see it so much in the comments, the guys that do nothing are always the ones that talk the most.
Yep.
They're always the ones that tell you, oh, you know, don't, you know, why are you doing that? Or I wouldn't do that if I was you. It's like, okay, like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And in 5 years, what then? When we're successful and you're still where you are,
it's
commenting on my photo, fucking after ripping a bong on the couch.
Oh, dude, we like tradies, like love them to death, but fuck, man, these guys, they do not hold back. You know, they're the ones that will when they sit at Smoko. There's flack coming your way.
I know. I think that's a culture problem in Australia a bit. I think in America it's not so bad.
No,
and there's a lot of I guess ideas and inspiration to get from people in your industry in that country and in that part of the world, because they celebrate those that put themselves out there.
Yeah.
I definitely take a lot of inspiration from creators over on that side of the world in the real estate space, and I bring it here.
And there's a few talking about that too. I've seen like over in Texas and stuff like that, where they've got these large houses and they say, like, oh, you know, for 250,000, look what you can get.
Look at some of the construction guys or people in your industry over there. Yeah. Just search hashtags on TikTok or Instagram.
Massive.
You'll find their content. You'll
they
see
make
what's
millions
doing
a year just on their socials.
You can just go and replicate what they're doing here, because it hasn't been seen before in Australia. It'll be the first time an Australian person's done that sort of content here. And you got to have the, I guess, the action to go and do that, but it could pay off massively if you find something that works.
And then be okay with it not paying off.
Yeah, you know? Be okay with it flopping. I mean, I'm in a period now as a buyer's agent. Last year, as a sales agent, I was just focused on promoting property, promoting myself. Now I'm a buyer's agent. I'm a property consultant. I need to give people faith in my ability to go buy them a property successfully. So I need to put myself out there as a credible individual, educated, knows what he's talking about. That's not the same guy that I was portraying last year as the walkthrough showman. Now I'm talking about real estate investment. So I'm in a whole new realm of content creation. And a lot of people would look at that in my position and go, fuck that. Like I know who I am now. This is working. I can't go start that. But you just got to evolve.
And I guess we could talk about that.
Yeah, my first couple months, like we're in May now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But January, February, I started creating this new sort of content to support and build up purchase.com.au. Investment property style content, black and white, bland, boring shit. But I started experimenting and working out what sort of content was getting the most engagement. And I was pushing out 2 videos a day on average. So you need volume to understand what the people like.
Yeah. Or what they don't like.
Or what they don't like. Yeah. And only 10% of those videos did well. The rest flopped. But at least I now know which ones don't work and double down on the ones that do. But you have to have the long-term vision. Like if I embark on this journey and commit for 12 months, where could I be? Could I have 10,000 followers and 100,000 more in annual revenue? It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, all of my business comes from social media now.
Crazy, right?
So it's crazy. It's just, I don't do any outbound phone calls like I was as a sales agent. You just talk about your subject on social media and the calls come in.
Yeah. And then all it takes is, even if you get one person reach out on socials and they tell their person.
Yeah, then there's a network effect after. But the point is, you can start a business cold just by doing social media marketing. That is what we're doing with purchase.com.au.
Yeah. Yeah. Socials is, you know, and someone said to me the other day, like, you asked me questions like off camera about, you know, what do we, you know, how does it work? I've had that same sort of question, because our game is not, you know, I'm not trying to gain, funny enough, I'm not actually trying to gain like, you know, David that's got a $4 million house come and approach me.
Yeah.
You know, I think my game is almost so long term that it's like, it's almost, you can't even really see it. It's not even really tangible. It's really, I'm just trying to give back to the community as number one, and hopefully that then in return builds me, you know, a decent enough brand as reliability.
Yeah, that's it.
And people, you know, it's a strong, solid thing.
Yeah.
For guys to know, like, they can come to me if they've, you know, we've had guys reach out to me that have got issues, that are, you know, they're not happy with their employment and stuff like that. And that's fucking fantastic. That's sort of what I wanted to do. Because I think the work, if you do the right thing, whether it's in socials or not, the work and what it comes in will look after itself. If you just do that, and, you know, you'll be sweet either way.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if your brand always stands for something and you do a good job, the rest is good. Like, it'll be fine. The amount of times I've seen guys that have got, no, as I said, I'm not taking a stab at any fucking developers or builders out there, but the ones that I always see with the beautiful renders, the beautiful socials, and it's fucking fantastic, mate. Like they're paying 10 grand for this mad render, but then you look behind the curtain and, you know, you hear about all the horror stories about, you know, guys having to withhold pay and you know, they're doing this, and they're doing that. And it looks fucking fabulous on Instagram, but it's not the real reality behind the scenes. But what I want to talk to you about is the journey from, you know, as you sort of said about from going from real estate to buyer's advocacy.
Yeah.
And what that's been like for you. And what do you think that are some of the biggest challenges in doing so? Because I think a lot of real estate agents that listen to our podcast probably, you know, they've either thought about it or they're thinking about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a massive thing. Everyone's seeing it at the moment, as you sort of said. And what was the statistic? It's like by, you know, in another 5 years or something like that, it's like 80% of houses will be sold through
a buyer's agent.
Yeah, through a buyer's agent. And it will be, you know, it will be almost like a mortgage broker to a degree. Yeah. The way that mortgage, you know, everyone goes to a mortgage broker rather than a bank, it'll nearly be the same with buying a house. You're not going to go, you know, to an agent because for me, I'm a property investor. Dealing with nothing against real estate agents, but going out there and dealing direct with real estate agents is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, it is.
Because you're competing with 30, 40 other people, fucking this guy and that. If you just go to a buyer's agent, you say, listen, man, I've got $1 million, go and find me X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
How good?
And they'll cut through. I mean, I was a sales agent, so I know firsthand that when a buyer's agent comes to us representing a buyer, we take them really seriously because we know that buyer's agent is representing someone who is highly motivated. They have paid that buyer's agent an engagement fee. They're more motivated technically on paper than the other buyer. Like they've paid to get in the door of that property. And in many cases, the buyer's agents, they move faster.
You almost want to deal with them as an agent, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. So sales agents tend to really prioritize dealing with a buyer's agent. And that's just because they move fast. They know what they want to do. They've already got the information in front of their buyer. And that's the advantage of using one is you're not guessing everything. Like you've got this resource that can provide you with all the information that you need to make a good decision when you're purchasing that property. So it's crazy to know that in however many years, 80% of people use them. Like you look at America, a buyer's advocacy has always been a thing there. Like no one buys a property there without one. No one just goes in a house and buys a property there.
When you go to an open home, it's just all of them are buyer's agents.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, they're all just agents. So in America, a lot of agents buy and sell.
Yeah, true.
Whereas in Australia, there's this differentiation. Not that there needs to be. I just sold a property off market. You don't have to do that. And I think that that's an opportunity in Australia as well, is to be both.
True.
To be honest, there's no reason, there's no legal reason why you can't. So maybe that's something that I'll keep doing on the side. But in America, that's very normal. But buyer's agents, I think, yes, will be adopted more. The only scary thing is there's so many coming into the space that aren't qualified to do it, or I think are underexperienced. And because there's such a high demand for it and a low supply, they're getting work, but they don't have the experience.
What do you think What do you think the biggest shift is though, from being someone that's been in real estate to then switching over to being a buyer's agent?
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest because someone could say, it's pretty much the same fucking job, mate. Like you're just selling a house and then all you're doing is you're just flipping the pitch and you're just doing it for the, like, what do you think that the actual hardest difference is? Is it the way that you approach it?
I think that the way that you deal with your clientele is very similar. Like the way that I dealt with vendors, people selling a home, is very similar to the way that I deal with buyers. Or at least that's my approach. I give very honest clinical advice to my clients so that they can make a decision. I don't bullshit them. I just tell them the facts. That's it. You guys make the decision. It's your purchase. It's your sale. You do with it what you want.
Yeah,
that's just the info. The biggest difference between the two sides is you're not running a campaign. With a real estate listing, you have to prepare the property for market. There's 3 weeks in that.
Yeah.
You have to get photos, video, you have to coordinate the contractors for those 2 elements. You have to then list the property. You have to conduct private inspections, open homes midweek on Saturday. You have to do callbacks. You have to prospect the area once you've listed the property in that area. You have to go through your database, email blast. Like there's a full marketing campaign, and a good real estate agent should be doing all those things and more, like employing my services to promote them on social media.
Yeah.
A real estate agent should be doing all those things, and it's a lot to look after, but the commission is a lot higher. If people don't know, standard commission rate for selling a property is 2.5% of purchase price. As a buyer's agent, we charge $13,000 fixed fee, which if you're buying a $1 million property is less than 1%.
Yeah.
So they get paid almost twice as much to sell a property. And I would argue, having come from that side of the industry, that they deserve it.
Yeah.
It's a slog. It's way more physical work.
You say,
Whereas
so many people are like, oh, fucking real estate agents they just get paid for doing nothing. Yeah.
fuck, go do it then.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
first
not a
of all,
game.
go get a listing, because that's really hard.
It's not a game for me. Like, I know I've spoken to enough and dealt with enough that I'm like as you literally just said to me then, like, you know, you're on the phone until 10 p.m. that night. You literally live and die by your client.
Yeah.
You know?
And that doesn't change whether you're buying or you're selling real estate. You'll always be on call, and you'll always be expected to work at all times of the night, all times of the morning, whenever. But that's why you need passion, and that's why you need to love what you're doing. But it's totally different. I mean, people that think that they can just go in and make the money easily, or they criticize real estate agents for not earning what they make is crazy, because I challenge anyone in that position who's dissing to go get a listing first of all. To get someone to put their faith in you to sell their home is actually really hard. And then to sell it is challenging in itself as well. It takes years to build up a business.
Mate, I've got like close associates of mine that like I've spoken to them about their story and like how they started out in that space. And, you know, some of them went 6-12 months without a fucking paycheck. They didn't get nothing. You know,
it can be really grim.
And some of them go through phases where they don't get a listing for fucking ages. And it's literally just hitting the ground every day.
Every day.
They're fucking door knocking, they're emailing, they're phone calling. And they're trying to pitch, and it's just like, it's just constant. And then it's like, if you ease up on don't get me wrong, you can be an attraction agent, you know, eventually. I think that's everyone's fucking goal, right?
You don't start one.
Yeah, is to get to the point where you become that agent that people are then coming to you, or you work for that brand that then brings in whatever it is.
Snowball, you got to start it though.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's like, it doesn't just happen overnight. And it literally the passion, it's, you know, you just got to fucking slog it out. And like, if you're lucky enough to see it through that long and you grind it out that far and you become that top agent in that in that area, whatever the fuck it is, you know, rightfully so, dude. You know, you've busted your ass to fucking get there.
I think the same goes for being a buyer's agent. A lot of people are looking at it as the next big opportunity, and it is a big space, big opportunity. But the reality is, I think Ben Handler, the co-founder of Cohen Handler, said that like 90% of these buyer's agents don't even have a single client. They get their real estate license, which costs you $2,000, and now they're a buyer's agent. That's literally all that's required, is just go get certified, then they can go get clients. But who is going to trust someone that's never bought a property, never sold a property, maybe doesn't even own a property? A lot of people getting into the space, overly ambitious. My advice would be to go and learn from someone first, get some experience in the industry, and then work your way through, build real credibility, build a real knowledge base, because people see through it. I mean, because there's enough experts in the space now for a consumer to know when they're being bullshitted. So don't think that you can take the shortcut unless you're super intelligent and you've got experience. My advice would be go and collaborate with someone who's already doing it.
All right, guys, congratulations. You're halfway through this episode. I hope you guys are really enjoying it. But first, I just want to make a special thank you to Ideal Group Australia. Without them, I wouldn't be able to bring this podcast to you. So special thank you. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Buckle in and get ready to listen to the end of this episode. Fucking definitely. All right, I'm going to steer the ship a little bit more. So builders, developers, I think they're all itching, right? There's probably some builders in here that have seen your socials, have seen the houses you go through, What would be some advice that you would swing their way? Because they're probably, you know, if they're developers, they're always trying to market their property to, you know, to appeal to a larger client. But what I find anyway, because I speak with a lot of them, is there seems to be like a bit of a glass ceiling at around about that, like, depending on the area, don't get me wrong, but around about that like $1.5 to $2 million mark. And then anything plus that, there's like a secret sauce that's usually missing with certain properties, right? Because you might be in the same fucking suburb, but there might be one house selling for 1.8, but then there's this other fucking house up on the street that's $8 million, right? They look very similar. They're fucking, but this one might, like, is there usually a secret little bit of sauce that,
to create like an exponential
like
value
an exponential
increase?
Like, is that like, because all these guys are all chasing this thing, and they might spend fucking, it's not always about how much you fucking spend or how all this, like, we imported this marble from Italy. Good fucking luck, dude. You need to sell it. What's been your experience? Because you've dealt with a lot of builders and are different from that range, from that 1.8, 1.5, $2 million mark, fucking all the way up to 4, 5, 10.
I think that's looking at all the high spec homes that I go through. The thing, and I'm at that point now. I've been through fucking hundreds of them, like the top of the line new builds. The thing that differentiates the record breakers that sell maybe even before it hits the market, or at least in the first week, from the ones that just get the expected price, is the emotional appeal. At the end of the day, you're selling to a consumer who's going to live in that property. So you need to really pull on the heartstrings of your buyer. And there's ways to do that through focusing on certain elements of that property. Everyone knows that kitchens sell homes. So the kitchen is so incredibly important. It's not necessarily about the quality of the marble, like you pointed out. It's really more about the flow and the feel. And that's so jargony and fugazi to say flow and feel, but the reality is strip it back to a floor plan. I think the houses with awesome floor plans sell really, really fast, and they sell for a good price, because what happens is people go in there on Saturday and it flows. You could have 40 people in that house and you wouldn't even know it, because the floor plan is excellent and it just flows so well. Whereas you go into something that's unconventional, you're going to have unconventional flow, and that's going to put people off a little bit.
True.
Floor plan, I would say, is the most important thing if you're building a home as a builder, and then work back from there. But focus on floor plan and size, wide corridors, big bedrooms, big walk-in wardrobes. The small things that make a home more livable for the longer term. People will pay more for that.
Because I think some of the builders that we speak to, they're like banging their heads up against the wall trying to compete with, we know some of the top guys that have got brand. And
brand is becoming a real thing.
It's always been a thing. And, they're all bashing their heads up against the wall. They're like, oh, it's all right for them, or how do we compete? And I think it is literally, you just got to simplify it a bit. And I think what you just said then about flow, and it's such a strange, because a house that could be worth $3 million, right? But marketed, floor planned right, right thing, right strategy, fucking could go for 10.
You get the emotional premium of 10 or 15% more.
And it's like, so many guys are like, okay, how do we do that? Or they do it and they don't do it correctly, and then they price themselves out and they end up fucking holding cost on the property for fucking ever because it never sells, or and then they have to revert it all back and just sell it for what it's worth. And it's like, for fuck, like
you just need, all you need is one, ideally two people to fall in love with it, and you're on. You need a buyer that absolutely loves it.
And do you find that up in that space, in that high end space, that a lot of the buyers, they're not personally going through, that you're dealing with buyer's agents to a degree, and that, they might not even be in the city, or, you're having to, I think the flow thing, you said it fucking perfectly about the opens. Because I find that you can get the attention of a certain house, and you'll get all the socials, you can pay guys like yourself, fucking whatever you want to do.
Saturday's got to work out. I mean, ideally you get a buyer there on their own, but many homes are sold on Saturday at the open home. And if it feels weird when there's 40 people in the house, people just get out. If there's a bad vibe, people actually just get out.
Or if it's just fucking crammed. Like if you're like, oh, sorry, let me just squeeze through. Like,
but if you've gone from a house, same price bracket, that felt weird to walk through, and then you go through one that feels amazing to walk through, which one are you going to reflect on at the end of the day and say, we should make an offer on that property? The one that you felt better in. It's especially if you're in the same suburb, same block size, like it comes down to feeling so much. that's why I love the space, because it's such an emotional thing. Although we are focusing on investors and buying investment properties.
Yeah.
Just coming from that background on the sales side and promoting luxury properties, it's the feeling you get through some of these houses is crazy, and that's what sells them. And you need an agent that understands that, I think. And you also need an agent not to, I guess, add fuel to the stigma of real estate agents, but you need an agent that will get you every last dollar from that emotional buyer. Because the reality is, even if they are paying 10 or 15% more, it's a fucking 10 or 15 year plus home for them. They won't, it really is marginal at the end of the day when they go to sell it, and they'll still be grateful for buying it. Like, even if they pay over on settlement day, they are so giddy to know that this is their new home. You need an agent that's willing to extract as much money out of that market as possible. Some of them don't do it. So that's why it's important to use a top agent, because they have built a career on getting awesome results. Don't use an agent that hasn't got a track record of doing that.
If you're a buyer or a buyer's agent, you're looking for those agents that
you want to be on the other side with a buyer's agent. You want one that won't be manipulated by the sales agent to offer more. That's why it's such an advantage using a buyer's agent who's come from the sales side, because they understand the tactics. I mean, I've been there. I don't let any of my clients overpay for a property. I mean, it's an investment usually, so it needs to stack up on the books.
100%.
But I understand what they're doing, so I can work against them. With a buyer's agent, you want them to reduce value. Sales agent, maximize value.
Yeah. And do you think that, because what you do on the side with the videos and almost as I sort of said, being the middleman to the middleman with the, you're promoting these properties, but you're not the agent. Like, an agent might reach out to you and say, hey, Andrew, I need you to come out, do your video. Here's fucking $1,000, whatever the fuck it is, right? Here's some money to promote promote my listing. Do you think that in its own is going to blow up as well? Because that's almost like a business on its own. Yeah. That's almost like a business on its own, essentially, because what you're doing is you're almost appealing to the agents. I'm not saying that they're not lazy. I'm not saying that they are lazy. I'm just saying that they might not, they might not have the budget to do it. The company that they're in might not have the exposure that they want or whatever. And you're almost appealing to those ones to be like, hey, listen, I can offer you a service. I've got the following, I've got the personal brand, I feel like that in itself is almost that's almost going to blow up to a degree as well.
I mean, it could be scaled. What I'm currently doing could be scaled. It's not what I want to do forever. I think that other people could be doing that as well. There's more than enough opportunity out there. And there's platforms like Prestige Property and these luxury property Instagram platforms that essentially do that. You pay them a fee of $500 and they post it out there and hope, fingers crossed, your buyer's on Instagram and sees that. Or it just contributes to the overall exposure for the listing. Do I want to scale that business further? Not really. For me, it's like a personal passion. I love luxury real estate. I love architectural real estate. So getting the opportunity to tour those, getting paid to do it's awesome. But it's also a way for me to meet these high-profile real estate agents and build a relationship with them, help them get a property sold. You want a buyer's agent that's got ins with real estate agents. You don't want one that's offside to them. You want one that's on their team. So I've got relationships with the best agents all over Brisbane on the Gold Coast, because I've done promotional work for them and they're always so satisfied with the marketing that we create. That's a huge advantage for your buyer's agent. If they know these agents, I can get in the door of properties that other buyers, let alone average buyer's agents, can't, because of my relationship. So it's not about the strategy for, being a promotional business. It's more about the relationships I get out of it, and it fills my my creative void inside of me, because I'm a creative. I need something
similar sort of thing. Just a different way. It's like, we're sort of doing this for the networking, but it fills my passion to give back.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what we do. That's fucking great. All right, well, we're getting there. Holy dolly, the friggin' clock's pumping. Yeah. All right. So what I want to do is I want to talk about your, we spoke about brand and where you're at and what you're doing with socials and this, that, and the other. But you're sort of getting to the point now where you've now transitioned as a business owner in February. You've started up purchase.com.au. And what does that look like? Are you now, is it just yourself? Have you got other buyers agents? What's your plan with that? Are you hopefully going to compete with the big dogs? Are you, because that, as you said, you are a prime example right now.
Yeah.
I would say, you know, I'm not going to go down. I'm just saying, like, as a young guy that's starting out in business, you're entering a market that, as you said, is saturated. So how has it been with you sort of internalizing that and being like, okay, like this is what I'm going to do? Have you set yourself a target to be like, listen, I need to be at X in 12 months? Like, because it can get a little bit overwhelming and a little bit discouraging if it doesn't work, or if it, you know, how have you sort of essentially, you know, decided to just go for it, man? Because a lot of guys sit on the fence about running their own business, whether they're a real estate agent and they're like, I want to go out there and start my own real estate company. You know, I'm sick of fucking just working for this guy. He's an absolute fuckwit. You know, it's the same analogy with you. It's like you're now going into a market as a buyer, you're competing. Yes, you've done the stuff with, you're in the door with other real estate agents and that, but still, man, regardless of the contacts, it's still a fucking grind.
Yeah, it's really hard. It is really hard. So there's always an element of risk. Doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what you've got to back you. And the buyers would say to you is like, you know, if you ring them up and you say, I'm a buyer's agent, and the first thing they'll say is, oh, who do you work with? And we know all the fucking guys where they've already got the name and the brand, and you say, oh, I'm for purchase.com.au. It's like, who's that? Yeah, exactly. Well, it's early days. Hopefully
but you know, this is the thing of all the guys that are listening when they're thinking about, because the amount of people, just to contextualize it, that send me a DM and they say, how do I get my first fucking job? How do I do this? I'm just starting out. It's like, dude, it's if I knew the answer, man,
I know,
I'd fucking tell you, it's just a grind.
It is a grind, but you can perpetuate it by being aggressive on certain things, and that's always been my motto, is like, go hard on the things that will grow your business, like marketing. I mean, we've grown our business a lot faster than I think most buyers agencies would in the first 6 months because of the marketing engine I created with Brisbane Agent. Wouldn't be possible to do what we've done in the last 6 months without it. So everything led up to launching the business over the last 4 years, building that platform. I knew long term I'm going to have my own business in this industry. I'm not going to work for place estate agents forever. I've got no equity in it. Why would I promote it? Why would I stay there? Why would I give everything to that company when I've got no stake?
And was it always buyer's agent? Was it always advocacy?
No,
or were you...
no. That was really only in the last 12 months where I started diving deep into that. I knew that it was in the industry, whether it was a sales agency or a buyer's agency or even a marketing agency, that crossed my mind as well. With the promotion stuff we were doing, it was really starting to ramp up, and I thought I could scale it maybe. But there's only one of me, so will I be able to sell the product if I'm not the one doing the video?
So you sat on it for a bit.
I sat on it for a bit and I took my time, and I think that's important. But take your time while you've got income. Don't quit your job. Take your time and then start something.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But people, I've got mates, I've got people that I know who leave and then they never come back, even though they had every intention of doing it, because they just moved, they moved too prematurely. Wait for the right opportunity. And I did that. I waited. I founded the business with my business partner, who's based in Sydney. He's a tech entrepreneur. He's exited a couple of 8-figure plus businesses. He's fucking big time, real deal. And I'm very lucky, but also strategic to collaborate with him. And he only collaborated with me. Someone of that caliber would only collaborate with me because they can see the opportunity with what I've built from a social media marketing point of view. So I do have a business partner. We're building this thing together. At the moment, I'm the lead buyer's agent in the company, but we're getting to a point with our number of clients that we'll need more talent soon. But at this point, we want to understand what our capacity is, just the two of us. And
so he's a buyer's agent as well, or no? He's just looking back end stuff.
He's brand, he's online infrastructure, company direction, all of these things. Whereas I'm the feet on the ground, I'm the face, I am the one actually operating. So we complement each other extremely well. And I think the future is very bright for the company, just based on what we've got to build it up with my platform, his experience building tech companies. We would like to be huge. We're not doing this to be small. And I think that it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
I feel really confident. I feel like we're going to ride this wave.
Yeah. And I think,
But it's going to be organic growth. We're not going to, everything is organic so far. We haven't paid for any marketing.
that's so good.
And we've already got plenty of clients. We've bought multiple properties
Yeah.
without spending a dime on marketing.
That's so good.
And
yeah.
people without the marketing engine, how are you going to go find clients? Like I've built a platform on social media. That's my advantage. That's how I get clients. But those of you who are quitting your job to go do this, what are you going to do? You need to actually consider the reality of the situation. You have no business without distribution. If you can't get in front of people, what are you going to do?
That's exactly
You either
right.
need a lot of money to get in front of people, or you need experience in the industry and you can leverage relationships, but then you're giving back 20% of your commission to those people that refer you business. We don't want to do that.
No.
We want leads coming into us because they see our content. We convert them, we buy for them, we keep everything.
Yeah.
And that's the business we've
Yeah.
built.
And as you said, attention is sort of everything nearly. You know,
Everything.
the more eyeballs you have on you,
Yeah.
the better it is. The more you
Exactly.
can leverage it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And I think the fact that you haven't paid for a single fucking dime,
No,
nothing.
nothing.
You know, the proof's right there before
No.
everyone turns their fucking nose up at social media, being like, "Oh, I'm not going to get anything from there." Well,
I mean,
fuck, you can.
Time is a currency. Like I've dedicated a lot of time to just the content I've created for purchased, and you have to do that if you don't want to spend money on it. Okay, what are you going to trade? I'll
Oh,
trade
you
time for
still
it.
like when we say. Let me just reiterate to you guys before you start saying, "Oh, you fucking do it for nothing." Then it's easy. You still have, as you said, you still got to put time and energy and thinking and fucking. You know, the cameras aren't free.
Yep.
You know, mics aren't free.
Yep.
Like all this shit still costs money.
You have to come up with concepts. You have to actually
Exactly.
film them. You have to edit them. You have to produce them.
And I think the biggest thing is just putting your fucking self out there, just
Exactly.
doing it, and like
Doing
just
doing it frequently, learning, adapting very quickly, and just finding what works. When it works, ramp it up.
Yeah. So what was so you sort of touched on it just then when you were thinking about, because for me, you know, if before you were doing buyer's agency, I would assume that, okay, like fuck, the one out of the three pillars would have been marketing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because when you think about it, I'm like, okay, like
I love
no one
doing
wants to
deals.
no one wants to be a sales agent for the rest of their life. So I was like, okay, like if I'm just looking at you prior to you doing the buyer's agency, and I was like, what do I think this guy's going to pick? I'm like, well, fuck, he's just marketed he's pretty much marketing anyway. I was like,
Yeah,
marketing agency, bang.
yeah.
You know, but what was the main fucking driver for you for the buyer's agency? Was it just you love the deals?
I love doing deals.
I love
I love doing deals.
you just didn't want to be on the fucking whole slog end of doing.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, well, don't get me wrong. The marketing side is pretty bougie. Like
Yeah.
I still am going through and marketing very nice properties. Sometimes it takes me away. We're going to Hamilton Island soon. Like that's a really cool business and it could have gone anywhere. And I did think about it for a long time. I can take this international. I can become an ambassador for hotels and luxury resorts, Airbnbs. Like there's really no ceiling on this thing either. But I'm fairly realistic about my future. I want a wife and kids someday. I want to be sort of entrenched in Brisbane's community because I'm bullish on Brisbane between now and 2032. Like,
And then after 2032, see ya.
yeah, maybe. Who knows? I mean, like
We're all out.
build a big enough foundation now that you can do what you want then.
Yeah.
But really hard decision to make. I could go live an awesome bachelor baller life as a social media celebrity,
Yeah,
touring property all over the world. I feel like I could have pulled that off. There's so many markets in the world that I could go and capitalize on just through creating content, and that would have been an incredible life experience. But I can always experience that later in life, and I don't have to make it work. I can just go do those things, and I'd like to do it with a partner or kids.
And what grounded you in that decision? You got family? Like,
I
what
got
was it?
family. Like I love my family here. I don't have kids yet, but
Did you go to them about it, or were they just like, no?
I honestly make most of my decisions by
sweet.
myself, and I just think about things for a really long time before I do it.
Yeah, same.
And that's the way you should.
Yeah.
That's a big choice.
Yeah.
And I see real potential in the company we've created. It should give me. I still have like a high level of autonomy in my life where I can be here, and after this, I can drive up the coast.
Yeah.
I can go down the coast. Like I've got flexibility. I don't even have an office. It's pretty amazing the life that I get to live through the industry that I'm in.
Yeah.
And I guess the way that I've navigated it since beginning.
How good.
So I've got a great thing. I don't want to change it.
Yeah.
I guess that's a really long-winded way of answering your question.
No,
why
man,
I chose what I do.
It's
but
what I want to talk about because like there's
It's-
so many guys that are in like same age, same, no partner, no kids and that. And they're fucking,
and
they get
that
so,
answer wouldn't apply to everyone. Some
Yeah.
people, I was lucky enough to travel heaps early. I've done like a lot of Asia, not much Europe, done a little bit of Europe, but I've done a lot of travel and I've got enough of it out of my system to commit really hard here so that I can do more later.
and how do you deal with comparing yourself? Right?
Just don't.
Because you're in the space that I would say is the most fucking flashy.
Yeah.
If you're not driving a fucking Lamborghini
I know,
and you
right?
don't have a fucking $35 Rolex on your wrist,
Yeah.
they don't want to talk to you.
Well,
Like,
I suck because
you know
I
what
don't
I
have
mean?
either.
But like, there's so many guys that we hear that whether they're looking to be a fucking builder or they see the
Yeah.
best, mind you, a lot of them don't actually know the fucking backstory about all these guys, but they see the best of the best and they sham, I want to fucking be that. And you jump in socials and within the first 5 minutes, you're just like, fuck, I'm not there yet. Like, fuck this guy. He's like, look at him go. He's doing this. He's doing that. Like, how have you been able to not compare yourself to get down in the fucking thing about that and be like, oh, fuck, like,
It's a good question. I think that I know what real wealth looks like because I've met the owners of these homes. I've met billionaire property developers and they don't care about Rollies and Lambos. Like sometimes they show up in a Toyota and it's like, okay, this guy's actually worth money. He doesn't care about the material things.
Yeah.
I love material things, but I've never looked at someone, seen a Rolex on their wrist and thought, oh my God, like, oh, Patek Philippe, like,
Yeah. This guy.
what are you like?
What do you do?
That's a choice that they made to allocate money into something that they wanted. It doesn't do anything for me. I'd be much more impressed if someone told me they had a property portfolio with 10 assets in it, or they owned a huge equity holding fund, or they had heaps of Bitcoin, or that thing excites me because that's actually worth something that can grow, that can appreciate, they can liquidate. Like material things, I don't really care. I'd rather experiences. I'd honestly rather experiences and have real assets. And I hope that sort of kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Because real estate, the reason why I say it is real estate agents. I'm more talking
Yeah,
to
but
guys.
I understand them. Like I know that it's bullshit. Like I actually know real estate
so
agents really well.
fucking-
So
yeah.
I know that a lot of them have problems. Not everything's as cool as it seems on the outside. You look behind the curtain and you know that there's issues there. And I don't envy it. Like as long as I got my health,
Yeah.
I got good relationships, and I've got an opportunity to make good money in a career that's sustainable.
Yeah.
What more could I want?
Yeah, that's
I
it.
don't need little things to make me look better. Like I am who I am, and if the people around me that I appreciate can recognize that, then that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
I just don't care about the opinion of many people unless I care.
Yeah.
To be
And I
honest.
think I'm like literally so with that because for me, I used to, it was like 2016, 2017. This was probably what I would say the fundamental days of Instagram, Brisbane, builders, construction.
Yeah.
That was I would say the golden era of when it was just fucking, everyone was trying to itch their way to the top.
Yeah.
So like for me, I was a little old fucking, I look younger than what I am now. And it was just,
Yeah.
I was comparing myself to fucking everyone and it would put me down and I'd be like, oh, well, this guy, this. But as I matured and I built a business now and
Time goes on, right?
yeah. And like I've got kids
And you've got a
stuff,
sick
fucking-
business.
it
You've got a
just-
family.
Yeah. I don't need, like I sold my fucking really expensive car. Like I just
Yeah.
drive a banger. Like it's
Yeah.
like my wife, she doesn't have to work and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But
Amazing.
I've,
That's actual money.
well, that's what I have like, I have learned with myself that it's, it doesn't like, I find now when I meet a business owner that like
Yeah.
yourself, like someone that's young, that's like trying to really just like grind it
Yeah.
out. And then I don't talk to you for 5 years and we sit back down in 5 years time and you say to me, oh yeah, man, I'm doing this, like, fuck. Like, I'm like, fuck. Like that to me is
Yeah.
like so much work. Like I couldn't care what car you drive.
Yeah.
Like you rock up in a fucking $300,000 car, I couldn't care.
Yeah.
But if you actually build something, because I know that by doing that, it's so much harder than
It is so much harder.
just going out there and getting a loan.
It's so much harder, and I think it's the longer road to success, or it's at least delaying the
Yeah.
dopamine.
Yeah.
And it's doing the thing that's right for you, your future, the people around you, their future in your life. Money and like objects, you can get them at any point in your life.
Oh, just go out there and get a fucking loan for a dude. And,
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people do.
Go and hire it. Like,
So that's why I
go
really
and hire
don't
and get a
care, is
photo.
because a lot of people finance the hell out of all these bits and bobs that
yeah.
I don't care. I'd rather see a business growing. That's way more impressive, like
Yeah.
you just said.
Or when I go into a business and I'm like, holy fuck, man, you build this yourself? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy fuck, dude, like this thing is like
It's
it's
legit.
a giant, man.
Yeah.
And he's like, he could literally buy whatever the fuck he wants, like
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
But like, no, just
You just have to have faith in the process,
Yeah.
because you can get into the industry like real estate or construction young, and you can see people 5 years older than you doing extremely well, and you think, fuck, oh my God, if I'm not there by that age, or blah, blah, blah. And the comparison creeps in and it kills everything, kills all your joy.
Yeah.
You just have to have faith in yourself and focus on your life and focus on your lane and focus on making the best decisions possible for you to get ahead. You don't have to set a benchmark against someone else, because they've got a completely different life. You have no idea what is going on there.
Yeah. It could have been a different
You've really
setup.
just got to focus on how can I maximize my life based on what I have.
Yeah.
That's it. And that brings you real joy, as long as you stay on that journey and you keep your blinkers on.
Yeah. And then you'll see other people behind you that'll be like, oh, well, how did you?
You'll start noticing it.
Like fucking like, how did you get there? And it's like, dude, I
100%.
got no idea. I just did my own thing. I just stayed in my own lane.
But that's
fucking-
real.
Yeah.
When people
And that's
start
it.
asking, and it sort of
That's
validates it. Okay, I've actually progressed so much, and that's amazing.
something, yeah.
You got to give that some value.
We are pumping. All right. Well, listen, I think we're pretty well done.
Sweet.
We're done. I know it seems, man, for a lot of the time when we run these, Andrew, just so you know, it's like, you know, the listeners probably know it as well, but man, it's just, it feels like a 50-minute, literally feels like 15.
Yeah.
But hopefully in time to come, we can run this back and we can see exactly where you've
let's do
been
it.
at. And he'll probably come in here and he'll be like, yeah,
I'll come in with a rollie on in my Lambo and be like, psych, I lied about everything.
Got 25 buyers agents here. We've opened up in Sydney. We're doing this. We're doing that. I've sold this. Yeah, it'll be mad. So, but man, I want to, as I said, thank you again for coming on.
My pleasure, Corey. Thanks for having me.
I think we have brought some sort of little golden nuggets to someone out there. So thank you again, man. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to this week's episode. If something hit home for you, it would mean the absolute world to us if you could like and share this podcast with someone else that would benefit from it. Tune in to next week's episode, as this will be one that you don't want to miss.